All right, what's up YouTube? So today I'm gonna teach you how I run every single sales call, every single sales meeting, and really every conversation that I have in general. So I run a practice called Cold to Sold. It's a combination of straight line selling, Sandler Training, and a few other methodologies that I've learned, read about, seen on YouTube. I did not craft this strategy myself. I pulled the best of the best, and I'm gonna walk you through how I get every single meeting to end how I want it to.
I came from the mud, there's dirt on my hands, strong like a tree, there's roots where I stand.
All right, guys, so I want to get right to it. And before I start, I want to talk about the mindset behind a call. Every call is like getting to an end destination, right? We have a straight line, okay, Mr. Belford, right? I didn't make this up, but Mr. Belford, straight line of getting to either decision A or decision B. And in your mind, before you get in that call, before you get in that meeting, you need to determine what option A is and what option B is. Most of the time, it's option A. I'm gonna figure out how we can work together, get the sale or get the next step. Option B is this is not a good fit and I'm gonna end the call and be done with it, right? So the mindset has to be predetermined on what you want out of the call, the meeting, the situation. And again, guys, this works with everything, even outside of sales, okay? I just want you to keep that in mind as we get started. So step number one, determine what point A and point B, and maybe there's a point C if it's a really complex conversation. So with this getting started, here, start of the conversation, you need to be the first one to talk. You need to take control. Very simple. Just be the first one to speak, bring your energy, be you, and have fun with it. I mean, it's the first thing you do, 1 to 7 seconds. Take control. Hey, how's it going today? Where are you calling in from? Or, hey, how's today going? If it's in person, and you're gonna slide right into small talk right away. Now I'm gonna give you some tips about small talk. You do not ask about the weather. You do not ask basic questions here. You're gonna spend 5 to maybe 10 minutes getting to know this person a little bit better. Pro tip, people like to talk about themselves. And it's key when starting to tap into what the most important element of this is, which is emotions, right? It is important that you are getting them to open up and talk about themselves. And in small talk, again, you're gonna spend 5 to 10 minutes here, typically in a 30-minute conversation or even an hour conversation. What I want you to be asking here is questions you could genuinely be interested into as well, because it helps reflect the confidence and the genuineness of the questions. Let me give you an example. If you live in Indianapolis and you're a Colts fan, maybe you talk about the Colts. Maybe you talk about an event coming up like the Indianapolis 500. I'm shooting this in late April. This is Indy 500's coming up in May, right? Maybe we talk about something that's happening or relevant to the city, or you ask them what their hobbies are. Ask questions that you could really get behind and leave the basics like how's the weather, what do you think about COVID and all this other basic small talk. Ask cool questions that you can get behind and go deep on and get your energy behind, and it goes a long ways. But again, it's important to take control and start with small talk to let that person open up about them and talk about them, right? Most transaction sales conversations, people lack the ability of getting to know one another. Therefore, it's a very transactional type of conversation. And you feel like you were sold. People want to feel like they bought, right? That is key. People want to feel like they bought from you, not that they got sold. Make a sell, make a commission, make a friend, make a fortune. You are making a friend here in the small talk piece, along with this next piece coming up. So you're going to transition the conversation. So every meeting has a purpose, right? Typically it's in the title, like Devin and John meeting to discuss connected. So transition is very simple. You need to be the one that opens up and says, all right, John, so we're here for an hour. Does this still work for you? Awesome. Go ahead and tell me a little bit more about your business. You're maintaining control during this entire call. Because as Mr. Jordan Belfort says, each conversation, you're trying to get to A to B, and the further you get away from the destination, the harder it is to pull it back in, right? So take control and make sure that the transition statement, you say it and they start opening up about their business. This is a key element here, is this transition and taking control and maintaining control. Now that we have control of the conversation, you are going to let the person say whatever they have to say. Maybe it's 2 sentences, maybe it's 20 if they really like talking about themselves. Again, let them keep talking about themselves, let them get it all out. Don't just interrupt them like, oh yeah, I know a lot about this industry, or oh yeah, I help so-and-so. Let them get it all out. We're going to go into this phase called questioning. And in questioning, you're going to get to know them better, but also start to assume pain points. So in this phase, we're assuming pain points. All right, so in questioning, just like small talk, you're gonna ask questions that you can genuinely be interested about. Here's one of my favorites. Hey John, so you've been a financial advisor for 10 years. What got you into the industry? Again, let them open up about themselves and they'll tell you passions. You can hear what they get excited about when the tone changes a little bit. You could tell it really strikes a sweet spot for them, right? So in questioning, you're gonna ask questions like, what got you into the industry? Why do you do what you do? What's your favorite part? And in that, you're talking about positive topics normally and just figuring out who and what they do, but they're working off of referrals. Start weaving in some of those industry questions like, tell me how you've been growing your practice. Tell me, start asking some pain, the pain funnel, right, out of Sandler. Start asking some of those questions and just getting to know them. This is the longest part of the conversation. You could be here 20, 30 minutes if you're in an hour meeting of just, again, letting the person talk about them. And you're getting to know them. You're getting to know why they do what they do, who they do what they do with, where they're going, what their end goal is. Every aspect of that person you should be figuring out inside this 20 to 30 minutes, not just the business side, but the personal side. Their number one key motivator may be sending, their daughter to college or whatnot. It's important to know that because we are extracting the emotions to get to point A or point B in the close. Now that you've got to know this person, you've assumed 1 to 3 pain points. I like to have 3 pieces of what I call ammunition for going into the transition here. There's another transition that you have to nail. And this is pain point plus product. So, let me give you an example with the financial advisor. Hey, so I help, senior executives grow their book of business without just relying on referrals. So I do the pain point plus our product, right? So you do pain plus product. So whatever industry you're in, you assumed the pain point, number 1, and then insert your product of how you're helping them. You are having a conversation to help them somehow, some way. Well, hit their pain point that you assumed from getting to know them. You just spent 30 minutes, 40 minutes getting to know the person, or 15 minutes, however long the meeting is, and assume the pain point and tell them how you can help them. And the key is go silent after. Go quiet, because the human instinct is to ask more questions after you've been in an open dialogue up to this point. They will start to ask more questions, typically, I'd say 90% of the time, about the product and begin to sell themselves. Now, let the person ask the questions and only answer. Don't over elaborate. If you're selling technology, don't speak a lot about features. Just speak to what they ask about, right? Less is more in sales. I know you guys have heard that. Just speak to the questions that they are asking, because that's what their pain is. And start hitting more of these pain points with the answers. So if they ask a question, pull one of his pain points. Oh yeah, people that are trying to scale rapidly, they really struggle, and we fix that with automation, right? So again, pulling pain points out to answer the questions that they are asking. But the key is do not overtalk or talk your way out of the sale. Now that we're a few questions in, it is time to decide when point A or point B, this is a good fit. No, it's not. So if it is a good fit, ask for the sale or book the next meeting. If you want to double your sales, make sure every single meeting that you have, you put the next action item on the calendar or immediately ask for the sale, as you've already gathered all of this pain and it's already a no-brainer. At bare minimum, book the next meeting or the next action item or the email follow-up. Whatever it is, make sure it's on the calendar. It's called accountability, right? We need accountability inside of sales. We are humans, right? We forget conversations that we had yesterday. So you got to have accountability and reminders and stay on top of it. Remember, the fortune is in the follow-up, right? I've got all these small sayings. I'll hit you with another one, right? Small hinges swing big doors. Small hinge of setting the action item can swing that door open and get that sale for you, right? Make sure you book the next step or straight up ask for the sale. Why did you meet for an hour but scared to ask for a credit card? He's got your money. She's got your money. Make the ask. If it's not now, when can we meet again, right? Now, this one's simple. If it's not a good fit, John, it was so nice to meet you. Let's stay connected on LinkedIn. I really appreciate you and your time and telling your story. I'm really honored to get to know you. You don't have to be rude about it, but say no. And it's okay to say no. Not every customer is a good customer, right? So really think through it. With this philosophy, it is important to know that every single conversation you're having has an end destination. Have that predetermined before you walk into the meeting and always get the next action item, right? So with that being said, cold to sold. This is what I use every single day, every single sales meeting, every single conversation. I use this formula where I'm always in control and I hit both transitions and I get the action item. Hope this helps you. Dominate your next sales call. Double those sales. Thank you.